Sarah and Emma went to the cinema.
As the credits rolled and the lights in the cinema gradually brightened, Sarah sat back in her seat, thoroughly engrossed by the 3D spectacle she had just witnessed. With wide-eyed wonder, she turned to her friend and exclaimed, "That was a real eye-opener. I mean, I've seen 3D movies before, but this one was in a league of its own." Sarah had always been a film buff, but this experience had taken her appreciation to a whole new level. "There's just something about the depth and dimensionality that really draws you in," she mused, as they exited the cinema. "It's like you're part of the story, living and breathing every moment." Despite her newfound fondness for 3D, Sarah acknowledged that it wasn't everyone's cup of tea. "I get it, some people find it a bit over the top, or they might get a touch queasy during certain scenes," she said, a knowing grin on her face. "But for me, it's like a rollercoaster ride of emotions, and I'm all in." When it came to choosing films, Sarah had eclectic tastes. "I'm a sucker for a good thriller or a mind-bending mystery," she admitted. "Give me a plot twist that leaves me on the edge of my seat, and I'm hooked." She also had a soft spot for period dramas, where intricate details and lavish costumes transported her to bygone eras. As they strolled down the cinema corridor, Sarah couldn't help but dispense some advice to her friend. "If you ever decide to dive into the world of 3D, make sure it's a film that was shot in 3D from the get-go. Those conversions just don't pack the same punch." As they reached the exit, Sarah turned to her friend with a twinkle in her eye. "So, next time we're picking a movie, how about we go for a gripping psychological thriller? It's bound to be a nail-biter." With a shared laugh, they ventured out into the bustling evening, their minds still buzzing with the cinematic marvel they had just experienced. As they ambled down the lively street, Sarah and her friend, Emma, were still animatedly discussing the film. Sarah couldn't help but keep talking about her experience in the cinema. "I have to say, that movie was a breath of fresh air," Sarah remarked, her eyes sparkling. "It's not often you come across a story that keeps you guessing right up to the end." Emma nodded in agreement. "You're absolutely right. It had me on the edge of my seat from start to finish. I could hardly catch my breath during some of those intense scenes." Sarah chuckled, appreciating Emma's enthusiasm. "Exactly. It's like they pulled out all the stops to make it a rollercoaster of emotions. And you know what they say, go big or go home." As they continued their animated discussion, they passed by a small independent bookstore that Sarah had always been fond of. She couldn't resist popping in for a quick browse. "I'm a sucker for a good page-turner," she admitted. "There's nothing quite like getting lost in a gripping novel." Emma smiled, understanding Sarah's passion for storytelling in all its forms. "You've got a real knack for picking out the hidden gems," she commented, complimenting Sarah's taste. After a leisurely perusal of the shelves, Sarah finally selected a book that had caught her eye. As they left the bookstore, she said, "Well, they say you can't judge a book by its cover, but this one looks promising." With their conversations still buzzing with movie talk and book recommendations, Sarah and Emma made their way home, grateful for the shared moments of passion for storytelling that had brought them even closer as friends.
Thank you for listening to English Audio Lounge. We hope you have enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more audio stories to improve your listening.